why LeBron James will win the 2017 MVP award. Now, the last time LeBron James won the NBA MVP award was 3 seasons ago, so many people until the NBA Finals thought that LeBron James' MVP days could possibly be over, and it was fair to wonder if his MVP days were done. Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant are younger and fresher, and LeBron James didn't even finish in the top 2 of voting in the last 2 seasons. James was obviously still great, but it was still noticeable that he wasn't really trying through the regular season, and he was definitely saving himself for the playoffs instead. Something that, I guess, well, it worked out for him. But something changed a few months ago, and as you may be aware, LeBron James went on an absolute tear through the 2016 playoffs, and then put together an all-time great performance averaging just under 30 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 2.5 steals, and 2.3 blocks against the Warriors. In the process, LeBron James defeated the Golden State Warriors down 3-1 in the NBA Finals, which has never been done before, and made people look very, very silly for ever considering that any player, Stephen Curry, in the league was better than him. With LeBron James coming out of the offseason and saying that he's chasing the ghost who played in Chicago, I'm here to make the case for why LeBron James will win the 2017 NBA MVP award. First off, I just want to say shout out to SB Sports. They had a brilliant article which gave me some awesome ideas for the video, so I'll leave a link in the description for that article. Although LeBron James is a 4-time MVP, there's almost no player in NBA history to actually win another MVP this long since 3 years after their last one. Wilt Chamberlain had 5 seasons between his wins in 1960 and 1966, but the only other player in the modern era to have 3 seasons in between their MVP wins was Michael Jordan, who, well, he retired in between some of those years. Other than that, it's never really happened for any other player with multiple MVP wins. The counter argument for this scenario is that technically it has been done before, and if LeBron James is worthy of winning the MVP this season, I'm sure they'll give it to him this particular season. And even the voters, they won't consider the fact that many players haven't won the MVP 3 years since their last one. This older and wiser version of LeBron James knows not to kill himself in the regular season, so there shouldn't be much of an expectation for a large stat jump unless his 3-point jumper improves. But knowing LeBron James, that's probably something he worked on this offseason. Luckily for LeBron James though, a player's stats aren't the only factor in an MVP vote. We saw it when Derrick Rose won the MVP versus LeBron James. Derrick Rose definitely didn't have the stats LeBron did, but the Bulls finished at the 1st seed. And when you break it down, which we will do in this video, all the narratives are lining up in LeBron James' favor. So here's why LeBron James will win the 2017 NBA MVP award. Number 1, Stephen Curry's voter fatigue. Stephen Curry is an unbelievable player. We all know that. He's doing things that we haven't really seen before. He's slowly becoming the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. In fact, let me change that. He's quickly becoming the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. He is the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. But there's just almost no chance that he three-peats as the MVP. There's only been 3 players in NBA history, and with Kevin Durant taking some of Curry's shots, with Kevin Durant taking some of Curry's minutes, with Kevin Durant on the same team as Stephen Curry, I just think it's very unlikely he pulls off the 3rd consecutive win. The last player to win 3 MVPs in a row was Larry Bird in the 1980s. They've never given it to LeBron James. They've never given it to Michael Jordan. Do you think they're going to give it to Stephen Curry? Do you know how much backlash they would get in that instance? It would be insane. I don't think Stephen Curry is going to win it. I don't think he's going to have an even better season than he had last season. I just can't see Stephen Curry winning it. He'll make a case. He is doing things that we've never seen before. He might end up making more threes than last year. Who knows? But I just don't see him winning the MVP. Number 2, Kevin Durant joining a 73-win team, joining the Golden State Warriors with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Kevin Durant can call up LeBron James to talk about how the media feels about you after a controversial move to a super team. LeBron James absolutely had a stronger case for the 2011 MVP over Derrick Rose, but the combination of the Heat being totally reviled and a nice narrative in Chicago burned LeBron James, and he didn't take home the hardware. Now, with Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry on the same team, it's fair to expect that Durant and Curry to eat into each other's production, and that is definitely not a bad thing for the Golden State Warriors in terms of success, because, well, you're getting two superstars on the same team. In saying that, in terms of MVP production for both of these players, well, I think they may drop a little bit, because that's what happens when you get two superstars on the same team. You know, their stats decrease, and that sort of makes their MVP chances decrease as well. KD and Stephen Curry will get the easy looks for one another, but it's only reasonable to expect their individual volumes of production to drop as they account for one another on the court, which means I can't see Kevin Durant or Stephen Curry winning it this year. And like I said, Kevin Durant will get the LeBron James backlash for what LeBron James copped in 2010. I doubt they're going to give it to Kevin Durant. Number 3, the seeding requirements. This is where it gets very interesting. At this point, it eliminates so many players that have a chance to win the MVP. Russell Westbrook is the hot name and is actually the co-favorite alongside LeBron James for the MVP honors. But unless he somehow drags the Thunder to a top 3 or 4 seed, he's out of luck. Now, I'm going to show you guys on the screen right now. There's a whole list. It goes by MVP, year, and seeds. And as you can see, unless you finish in the top 2 in seeds, it's very unlikely that you're going to win the MVP. As you can see, Karl Malone in 1999 finished as the 3rd seed, but he tied for the best record. And the other player was Michael Jordan in 1988, who finished as the 3rd seed. And, well, it was Michael Jordan. Now, unless Russell Westbrook has an insane year, he averages a triple-double, a player to do something like that since Oscar Robertson, and he finished as maybe a top 4 seed, I just can't see any player outside of the top 2 seeds winning it. But maybe this could be the year that James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Paul George, some player outside of the top 2 seeds will win it. I really doubt it though. As you can clearly see, unless you have a top 4 team in the entire league, not even top 4, unless you have a top 3 seed in the entire league, you just have no chance to win it. Yes, I understand, records are meant to be broken, and Westbrook will be hyped as ever losing Kevin Durant to the Warriors, but all odds are against him at this point. His team is simply just not good enough.
Now I do what I want. 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 Now I do what I want.
Superstars can affect their team's success to an insane degree in the NBA, so it makes some degree of sense that the winners of the MVP awards are on the best teams, even if it's unfair to some awesome players on awful rosters. For this reason, you can almost certainly disqualify players like Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Anthony Davis, which is sad, and I really wish it wasn't like that, but that's how it is, unfortunately. Now, I've actually got 2 sleepers this season. One of them you're probably going to laugh at because nobody would expect me to say this, but the first guy is Paul George. I mean, he's going to be on a Pacers team. He's going to be the best player on a Pacers team, on a team that may finish top 4 in the East. And the other guy, I know you're probably going to laugh at this, but Blake Griffin. He literally finished really close in the MVP category beforehand, a few years ago. Now, Blake Griffin, if he stays healthy, he has a chance to win the MVP, alright? The Clippers will probably either finish 2nd or 3rd in the West. That gives him the seeding requirements to win the MVP. He also could maybe take a step up in terms of his stats and maybe become the best player on the Clippers if Chris Paul declines a little bit this season. So let's say he's the best player on the Clippers, his team finishes top 3, and he puts up numbers that, well, deserve to be in the MVP. He has a chance. In saying that, I don't think it's going to be Blake Griffin. I think it's probably going to be out of LeBron James or someone else. Now, having established that if a non-LeBron James MVP is to be named, it likely won't be a player from the Eastern Conference. Most projections have either the Celtics or the Raptors as the top 2 seeds in the conference, and with all due respect to Kyle Lowry, Al Horford, DeMar DeRozan, and Isaiah Thomas, both teams are very good. They're good in terms of team success, but Lowry or Al Horford almost certainly won't win the MVP this season. In the West, we've got the Clippers with Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, but just like the Warriors, they might split the vote. So yeah, actually, Blake Griffin probably won't win the MVP. The Clippers are a hot pick to finish with the 2nd best record in the West, and that could very well lead to a buzz for either Chris Paul or Blake Griffin for their MVP love. The issue for the Clippers is that if they do make such a leap to a 2 seed, it'll require a monster season from both Chris Paul and Blake Griffin in an equal measure. That'll make it hard for one to stand out, and at that point it probably won't be either Blake Griffin or Chris Paul. Now, the other teams in the West, obviously the Spurs and the Warriors, the Spurs and the Warriors had an absolute dream seasons last year. The Spurs won 67 games and the Warriors won 73 games, which, well, that was the best record we've ever seen in the NBA. And to be honest, those records of 67 and 73 games helped propel Stephen Curry and Kawhi Leonard to finishing first and second, respectively, in the MVP voting. It's fair to expect a degree of regression for both teams, and the Warriors are already making it very clear that they've learned a lesson from putting too much stock in the regular season. Now, another reason why LeBron James could win the MVP is that narrative momentum matters a lot when it comes to winning the MVP. You have to remember, it's real people that vote who wins the MVP. It's not some sort of system, computer-generated crazy thing. It's people with their own brain, their own mind, their own thoughts. Yeah, that's how it works. LeBron James doesn't actually have to have a fundamentally different season than he has in the last 3 seasons to win the award, because the story is playing out well for LeBron James at this point. Kevin Durant has joined the Golden State Warriors. LeBron James is chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan. LeBron James has the perfect path to win the MVP. It's going to be a crazy storyline, and I think he could just do it. We've seen LeBron James in the media recently. He's already talked about the ghost of Michael Jordan, but LeBron James also made waves for his controversial response to whether Stephen Curry deserved to win the MVP in 2016. And it's clear he thinks he deserved the award every year. He reclaimed his status as the best player in the league, and this year, why should we have any expectation that he shouldn't win the MVP? Lastly, let's look at the top 3 projected seeding for all teams in the NBA, because as I showed you before, only players that have their team finishing in the top 3 win the MVP, which shouldn't be like that, but that's how it is. Now, you have to remember that this is my projection, but I've gone off a whole base of different articles, so I think it's pretty accurate. In the first seed, you've got the Cleveland Cavaliers. As the second seed, you've got the Boston Celtics. As the third seed, the Toronto Raptors, and maybe the Indiana Pacers, which is why I think Paul George has a chance. In the West, you've got the Golden State Warriors as the first seed. Now, as the second seed in the Western Conference, you've got the San Antonio Spurs. Unless they trade LaMarcus Aldridge, which, I don't know, maybe some of you guys don't know, but LaMarcus Aldridge is on the trade block right now. So, if the Spurs trade LaMarcus Aldridge, I don't see San Antonio finishing as the second seed. Maybe it will be the Los Angeles Clippers. So, I do have the Spurs finishing at the second seed at this point in time if they keep LaMarcus Aldridge. And as the third seed, I've got the Los Angeles Clippers and maybe the Utah Jazz. Now, obviously all those are projected, but that's what I think. And when I look at all those 6 teams, it comes down to 2 players. LeBron James versus Kawhi Leonard. Now, this is where it becomes interesting, because I really wasn't able to make a clear decision. Obviously, I think LeBron James will win the MVP, but Kawhi Leonard definitely has a chance, alright? So, in my opinion, if I'm LeBron James, I am praying, I am hoping that LaMarcus Aldridge is traded from the San Antonio Spurs. If they trade LaMarcus Aldridge, they will finish as possibly the 4th seed, eliminating Kawhi Leonard from MVP discussion and LeBron James winning the whole thing. LeBron James will win the 2017 MVP. Winning the MVP award won't be easy for LeBron James if he takes it easy during the season. However, while everybody takes their best shot at the defending champions, the Cleveland Cavaliers will need their leader to be at their best. As far as the team and as far as the big 3 are concerned, LeBron's ability to be the most elite player in the league and decision to do it on a nightly basis will be the biggest factor in their success, and that's why I think LeBron James will win the 2017 NBA MVP. It'll truly come down to whether LeBron James really wants it. If he strolls through the regular season and doesn't try, he honestly still has a chance to win it because of how good he really is, but his chances diminish. But if he tries and he truly does what he says he'll do, chase the ghost that played in Chicago, LeBron James will win it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's aim for 4,000 likes for the next video. If you're new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It literally takes 1 second and it would mean the world to me if you could just go down below and hit the subscribe button. I post NBA content on this channel and I've got a whole bunch of different videos just like this one. I've got some awesome what if videos that I'm preparing and I think you guys will love. Comment down below who you have winning the MVP award, and actually let me know why. Give me a reason why your certain player will win the MVP award. And I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Peace!